how did you get into real estate? Because I'm assuming you also started with no money, or did you have any?
No money at all. Honestly, I was coming straight out of high school. So I did my first deal at 17 years old.
What is double closing?
Double closing is just the process of having your buyer come in and they're putting up the cash for you to double close. It can be done one or two ways. Either one, you can have a buyer come in and leave that money in escrow, and essentially they will use the buyer's funds to close the deal for you, or having good credit or money yourself, closing the deal yourself and selling it to your buyer. I always tell people all the time, if you get your credit right, 700 to 800 credit score will allow you to go access $100,000 to $200,000 in funding for 0% interest.
Guys, welcome to this episode. If you think real estate is dead, if you think interest rates killed all opportunities in real estate, guess what? You've absolutely been lied to. Not because you're dumb, but you've just been lied to. The reality is there is people still out here developing, flipping homes, wholesaling without using any of their own capital. And today we're going to have a real conversation. This is not entertainment. If you're here to be entertained, you're going to be disappointed. This is a real conversation with people that are actually doing deals in real life. So we're going to talk about all things real estate, from the person that have no money, no job, bad credit, to the person that have good credit and some capital, or how you can go on like capital, leverage other people's money and start investing in real estate, guys. So I'm sitting here with my two partners, Mr. Andrew Powell.
Yes, sir.
Pre-foreclosure king, acquisition specialist. We're here with 24-year-old luxury developer, Mr. Stephen Blow himself.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Been
sir.
in real estate since 16 years old. I don't even know. But,
Yes,
very interesting story, guys. My name is Mamadou Lamine Diallo, guys, and also a full-time real estate investor, creative finance specialist, real estate developer, and also I own a company that can help you access business funding that you can use to invest in real estate. So we're gonna start with Mr. Andrew here.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yes, sir.
talk to me. So what did you used to do and where were you before real estate, bro?
Before real estate,
Yeah.
loss. For put everything into perspective, just been lost, just running around. But of course, doing a 9 to 5 truck driving, not necessarily a 9 to 5, but more like a 12 to 12. But truck driving was the first career path, and then after that, Steve, I just decided say it just never did make sense to me, doing the same thing over and over. And then real estate, of course, come in and change my entire life. So for me, real estate, guys, a lot of the times whenever we want to dip inside of real estate, we think about having money before we get involved inside of the industry. And wrong way of thinking. And once I start to educate myself a little bit more and understand how it really work, then everything get a little bit more easier. So for me, real estate is the way to go, even without having that lump sum of cash.
So your background is like a truck driver.
Absolutely.
How many years?
10 years driving truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you discover real estate?
Discover real estate through, of course, just reading. Just wanted was a change. Just doing the same thing over and over, driving truck. Wanted was to find some type of changes and start picking up more books and read this one book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Mr. Kellyman.
Okay, I was actually about to ask that question.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
the book where introduced me to real estate, and from that point it just grabbed my attention until we meet you guys, and then from there it just shoot off.
So the number one excuse, I don't know if that's how you started. When people start in real estate is, I don't have credit. They think they need a lot of money. I know I thought that way as well.
True.
And then, like how can somebody go from knowing nothing about real estate and getting started if they don't have any money whatsoever? What is like the path that you took to get yourself started in real estate, knowing that you didn't have money and surely no credit, I'm sure?
The first step is for, of course, educate yourself as much as I can. Then from there, you need a mentor. You need somebody who actually walked the path already. And those person can actually cut your learning curve tremendously. So once you educate yourself, kind of figure your way out, of course, you're going to stumble upon a lot of information where I'm going to misguide you. But the more you listen and the more you understand, then you kind of feel a way through. And once you find yourself a mentor, start to get inside of it and start to be a part of a community. You have the French community, we form a community. That is how real estate to me, Steve, become a little bit more clear. Once I become a part of the community, you have more experience, Steve, and become a part of you guys' group. Then from there, everything kind of change. But get yourself a mentor, get yourself a part of a community, and I think from there you will figure your way through.
Agree.
Okay. So for you, the strategy in real estate that helped you do your first deal and get yourself checked in real estate with no experience whatsoever, what is that strategy that you use?
Wholesale. Steve know the history. It was
Wholesale.
wholesaling. Now,
Okay, what is wholesale?
wholesaling is when you go out and you do, I would say acquisition, you market to pre-foreclosure. That is where we get the first deal from. So it's pre-foreclosure. A lot of people probably can't afford them monthly mortgage. I will try to reach out to those people, render some assistance, and ask for a little bit of discount depending upon the condition of the property, and then we'll wholesale it over to a cash buyer. Somebody who are going to now take the property, purchase it by cash, flip it, use it for rental, investor, so to speak.
So that's like you finding basically distressed homeowners. Pre-foreclosure is somebody that haven't paid the bank and the bank is trying to take the home?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you find them. Is the data public or is it like, how do you find
Yeah, the data definitely public. We have a bunch of places they can find the data from auction, preforeclosure.com, auction.com. It's up on the county website for the county, then in the newspaper. So guys...
Oh, the newspapers too?
Yeah, in the newspaper. It also comes in the newspaper. So there's a bunch of places they can go and find these people. And these people actually need the help.
So in any state, any county,
any state,
I can
any county.
find somebody going through challenges, about to lose their home, call them, is getting the numbers. Can I get them for free? Like the numbers?
You can absolutely get the numbers for free.
Okay. Then I call them, have a conversation with that homeowner and see if they're interested in selling.
Absolutely. Because sometimes when these distress situations get overwhelming, what you really find is that them don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
Me and Steve have been in a lot of this conversation where we actually help them by guiding them as to where to turn, what the best option. Now, we're not giving legal advice, of course.
Right.
But understanding the situation a little bit more, you can pilot them as to where the best option may lie. You know what I mean?
Quick pause from the podcast, guys. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're interested in real estate, or maybe you're already in it. Maybe you're struggling to find deals. Maybe you're tired of being on the sidelines and you're watching everybody win in real estate and you haven't started yet. Guys, I run a private community where there is no fluff. This is not the YouTube theory bullshit. We get into real deals, okay? We do deals together in this community. You're going to learn from real estate wholesaling to getting your first rental within 6 weeks to 90 days. And that rental will bring you between $1,500 to $2,000 net cash flow. And you're going to get into these deals with very little money out of pocket or zero money out of pocket. You're going to learn fix and flips. You're going to learn creative finance, right? How can you buy homes without ever walking into the bank? Or if you're somebody who, maybe you're afraid of being on the phones and talking to motivated sellers, you learn how to work with the people that are not afraid. You're going to fish for these deals and bring them to you so you don't have to call these owners, and you learn how to access 0% funding so you can leverage those funds and get into those kind of deals. Guys, it's a one-stop shop. Are you tired of being on the sidelines? Then don't wait, because the people that are winning inside, trust me, they didn't wait. You have access to live deals, case studies. We call for you, we help you do it, or we do it for you guys. We hold your hand. So guys, if you want to join this community, leave a comment below and I'll send you the link to book a call with my team so we can see if you're a good fit. Now let's get back into the podcast. Let's get it. Yeah, the reason I'm asking it is because a lot of the audience, the first thing they'll start thinking is, oh, so you just calling these owners and you're taking advantage of them.
Okay.
While they're going through, so basically you're targeting people that are, you understand what I'm saying? So, but that's not what's happening.
Never.
Is you say, I don't have the money, but there is public data out here of people facing problems. They're going to lose their home anyway if they don't get caught up. A lot of them, I'm sure, maybe they lost a job. Maybe somebody passed away, left the house, right?
Yeah.
There's always like maybe divorce, right?
Yeah.
And then you call them, you negotiate with them on the phone. And let's say you guys come to terms.
Yeah.
Then if you all sign a contract, you're saying you're not the one buying the home.
Absolutely.
That's why you don't need money.
Exactly.
Okay, what you're doing is explain that process. Now you're finding somebody that have money and buy your contract. Like, what is that? What?
So how we work. We work in a groups, because me and you are the collective. Steve are the one who go out. So once me reach out, do the acquisition, meaning me introduce myself to the person, find out what the person really and truly want to do, and then from them kind of pilot it. Now, if it's a situation where we are going put it under contract, of course I'm gonna get the contract. I'm a guy, Steve, are the one who gonna anchor it, meaning I him now I gonna market the property to these
sell.
cash buyers.
Sell the property.
Yeah.
But somebody who doesn't have a Steve can also
Yeah,
find
yeah,
cash
yeah,
buyer.
of course, 100%.
And dude, because I'm sure it took you time to find a Steve.
Absolutely.
So in the beginning, most people are solopreneurs.
Yeah.
Right. So that one, no excuse, because you don't need credit. If you call the homeowner, do they ask you about your credit?
No, them not asking about your credit.
Okay. Is there a realtor involved?
There's no realtor involved.
So you and the seller directly,
Me and the seller directly with my information.
whatever terms you all negotiate.
Yep.
And I know you guys do these deals in real life. You're not really taking advantage of people, because I've seen where you took a U-Haul, went and helped an old lady move.
Everything.
We've helped homeowners rent properties. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I get that. I can do that. I can do that, because if I'm new, I don't have good credit. I don't have any money. I should at least have time
Of course.
to jump on the call.
Yep.
And I'm assuming I can do that with a Google Voice number.
Yeah, you can do that with a Google Voice number.
So
You
all
can,
I need is a phone. Like,
yeah.
I got an iPhone.
The phone, the internet, a couple website. Just once you understand where is it that you get the data from, and also process the data and analyze it, and reach out to the homeowner.
How many hours a day you got to dedicate to this to get your first deal?
Well, at first, as a newbie, of course, you want to put in, the more hours you put in and the sharper your skills get, then you put in less. So for me, I put in 2 hours, but that a consistency over a long period of time. But at first, if you want to put in 3-4 hours as a newbie, you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can make from 10,000
It endless.
by selling the agreement all the way up.
Minimum 10, and in terms of the ceiling, it really and truly endless, guys. Are something where you can really and truly help people from. Because we're not just focus on the money, but we always try to find problem to solve.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where there's problem to solve, there's also compensation.
Agree.
Okay. And I mean, I know for sure that the stats do show that the foreclosures just keep going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have not only inflation, millions of people losing jobs through Facebook, Google daily.
Yeah.
And now they cannot afford to pay the mortgage. So all those people need help. So you're not taking advantage of anybody. You're finding people to help. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Steve. So Steve, for you, your story is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because guys, I met Steve. I think you had what 20? You were 21. When
Yeah,
we
I was
met,
21. No, I was 21.
21. I met him at 21. At 24, he's a luxury developer right now.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Going
I
into the game.
repeat, a luxury real estate developer at 24-year-old. At 24, I was in the club, like dancing on Vibes Cartel from Monday
Clueless,
to Sunday. Okay, guys?
Right.
I'm telling you
Clueless.
guys. So when I met him, I noticed something special about him, because at his age, 21, he was networking like crazy. He was going to every real estate workshop. He was already calling distressed homeowners, trying to negotiate. And I met this dude at 21 with 800 credit score.
Yeah, that's the fuck.
So I was curious, like, yo, like, who are you? Right? So, bro, your story is very interesting. So talk to me. What were you doing before real estate? And how did you get into real estate? Because I'm assuming you also started with no money, or did you have any?
No money at all. Honestly, I was coming straight out of high school. So I did my first deal at 17 years old, coming straight out of high school off of house arrest. So again, like, man, it's
At
not
17?
At 17. Straight out of high school. Like I said, the first day after I had graduated and everything, I ended up doing my deal 6 months later, straight out of high school.
So you're telling me somebody don't have to be 18 years old
Yep.
to close on a real estate transaction?
Nope. This is the thing. Just like Andrew said, you gotta make sure that you're utilizing your resources. One of the things I did when I first came out is I networked like crazy. So yes, I wasn't old enough to sign most of the contracts, but I got one of my partners named Jake Steen, which I can mention on this thing, that actually signed the contract.
Big
for
up,
me.
Jake.
Boom.
Big up Jake. Yeah, big up yourself, Jake, man. So yeah, like with Jake, I ended up getting Jake to sign the contract for me in order to do my first deal, which I ended up making $15K off of that first one. So that's why I was trying to tell people all the time, like, hey, listen, if there's a will, there's a way.
There's a will,
There's a way.
there's a way.
So
At 17, how much you made on that deal?
I made $15K. My very first deal was $15K, and I remember thinking it was BS. It's just like everybody. So, but I mean, it came from a lot of consistency though. Like Andrew was saying, I was on the phone at least 5-6 hours a day.
Yeah.
My first deal was a JV deal, and I was reaching out to everybody and their mom.
What is JV?
So JV deal is a deal. It's basically a deal where you partner with somebody that has a wholesale contract per se.
Okay.
And they might not have an end buyer, right? So that's kind of my thing. You know, I'm Steve. I'm the guy that you go to when you need a buyer. So pretty much.
Andrew goes find a distressed homeowner.
Yep.
He negotiate the contract.
Yep.
Seller is on the contract.
Yes, sir.
But he doesn't have a cash buyer
You correct?
to buy. He comes to you and say, Steve, you help me find a buyer, and then
No, and pretty much I take it from there. I say, hey, listen, you sit back, allow me to do this. This is pretty much done from you like a white glove service at that
Okay.
point. So I go out, I market the contract. So let's say Andrew has it under a contract for $10,000, I'll put $10,000 on top of that, and then I'll go find a buyer or an investor, somebody who buys distressed properties, and I turn around and sell it and make a profit. And all I'm doing is just middlemaning the deal. The only thing that I'm doing is putting a contract in place so that I make sure I get my $10,000. So
okay, so collaboration.
Yep, collaboration.
Okay. So these
everything.
cash buyers, right?
Yes, sir.
Why don't they do that themselves? Why are they paying you guys to bring them? Why don't they do it themselves?
That is an amazing question. So I always tell everybody all the time, most of the investors that you deal with, there's one or two things. Either they don't have the time because they're constantly dealing with flips, with the contractors, they're constantly having to deal with managing their own properties. Or, like I said, we meet a lot of cash buyers who are lawyers and doctors. Like I said, they might flip 1 or 2 houses a year to make 30, 40,000. They don't have the time. They literally just don't have the time. You know,
to be on the phone.
They'll be on the phone. So that's where we come in. We actually provide a solution to those buyers by finding them properties at a discount to where they can go in and go make 40, 50,000 without doing much work at all. So like I said, it's a turnkey service.
So how did you discover real estate at that age? What?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I had a troubled past coming up. I had a business partner that introduced me to a Thin Marrow event. I ended up going to that event and learning about wholesaling.
Networking.
Just networking. So, you know, and that was literally off a flyer. I thought we got to the event, you know, heard this idea where we can take a piece of paper, you know, turn around and sell it to somebody. We don't have to have no money at all, no cash, no credit. I can turn around and sell it to somebody who can buy it and pay me 15, 20K. And when I heard that I took it off and ran with it. You know,
at first when I hear these concept, it kind of sounds so real. But I can't even remember the first time I'm actually close a deal. I'm like, man, this actually work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sometimes when I hear people just nonchalantly talk about like 10 and 15K, sometimes, you know, your mind just can't conceive it.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true because what essentially you're doing is the only effort you're putting in, if you're on your side of the seat, is you're on the phones and you're negotiating with owners that are going through trouble and you're trying to find a solution for them.
Yeah.
And then on his side is, I know Andrew is fishing every day, but he doesn't have the time to, again, shift his direction from that and sell the deal.
Correct.
So I'll just be the one that sells the deal, which that itself can be a whole business model.
Correct.
So if Andrew's contracts is going to be a 15K profit just by selling the contract, so the split is 50-50 on that 15K? Is that how it goes? Or you add your own?
Genuinely, it just depends. Like I said, and this is where we actually have to do the negotiation on our end. So this is our example of acquisition. Sometimes you can negotiate 50-50 with whoever has the contract, or sometimes we end up, like I said, slapping our fee on top. But most of the time, it's best to shoot for 50-50. That way you're not killing your cash buyer. And you still
it's whatever you negotiate.
Yeah, whatever you negotiate.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you find people carry the deal come gear, right, Mamadou? And when they carry the deal, it's not under contract yet. Now, if me, I forgot in and negotiate the contract, then we need at least 60 to 70% of the deal if me have to negotiate the contract and get it under
you
contract.
probably have a lot of newbies that do call.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they don't know how to negotiate
And lock the
with
deal
the
up.
owners or structure the deals. Okay, interesting. So if you were to go back, the first list you'll go after is the pre-foreclosures. Seems like that's the low-hanging fruit,
Absolutely.
right? Because I mean, you already know, like, it's public data that this owner is about to lose their home in real life, by the way.
Correct.
It's not to play with. And so before you even call them, you already know they have a problem.
Yeah.
It's a matter of knowing how to provide a solution to them. Okay.
Yeah, true enough.
So we just got rid of the excuse of I don't have
cash. You
Cash?
can't. Yeah, you can't say that.
I don't have credit.
Yep.
And then I don't have I don't have any income. But this one is like the skill. You got to work on the skill, basically.
Absolutely.
That's where you were saying with the mentor. How did you harness your skill, for example, for you on the phones? Because did you have any sales background? Like,
No, absolutely no sales background. But of course, you know, whenever I come across you was the person who introduced this morning role play and how vital it is. And that is where,
what
for
is
me,
role play?
Role play is when we all come in, we have a morning group, right? So Mamadou put together a morning group where we all as investors come in a morning time and just role play, meaning Steve be the seller, me be the buyer, Steve be the buyer. We role play different scenarios as to how the conversation can be navigated whenever we have real life conversation with these homeowners.
Okay.
So morning time, you just role play that, and we do that for consistently 9 months, and after that, it become like second nature.
Agreed.
Every single morning. Steve, you remember those mornings, and a lot of people out there who know from those times remember these times also when we just spend endless hours of role play.
Yeah.
And I know the wholesaling also is changing because I know in a lot of states they're regulating it a lot, which I am for it because we've ran into a lot of issues where people put elderly, owners under contract with the
Dishonest.
wrong numbers
Yeah,
because they
being
don't have a
dishonest.
mentor, and then they try to sell it. They can't sell it, but the person actually lose the home because these people really risk losing their home in real life. So like if somebody is looking to start with that strategy right now, what is the best approach to adjust for the, laws and regulations? Obviously, full disclaimers, we're not your attorney, but how would you advise somebody to go and do that strategy now if they wanted to start with that? If somebody's comfortable being on the phone, they don't mind calling the owner, and they want to start with this low-hanging fruit strategy. I want to learn pre-foreclosure, for example. Like, how would you tell them to approach it right now to avoid, like, let's say you're in the state, let's say you're in North Carolina, and they're saying you need a license. How are you gonna go about it?
I mean, you want to check your rules and your regulation. Yeah, you want to check the rules and regulation and where is it that you is, what is it that you can do, what is it that you cannot do, and you just navigate yourself accordingly. I mean, there's not much. And even if you're inside of North Carolina, you have different markets where you can put yourself where not so rigid in terms of regulation, and you can still put these deals together.
So I can do this virtually.
Yes.
You
I don't
absolutely
have to do it
can.
where I live.
You don't have to. You absolutely can do it virtually.
No, and a thing I wanted to add, I would tell people to go out and go talk to the professionals who in your market doing this. Go find your cash buyers and your people who are actually buying the properties, and then work backwards. A lot of times I see people go out and go do acquisition, and you guys have not even talked to the people in your area to know what they want, what they're gonna buy, and now you're going to lock something up at the wrong number, and you're dealing with problems. Also,
That's the cash buyers, you mean?
Yep, your cash buyers.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, because they're the client who's
they're
going
the
to buy your
client.
product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I say also reverse engineer. A lot of times too, I see this happen. A lot of your cash buyers will help you do something called double closing, where they come in, right, and they pretty much furnished all the funds for the transaction itself, right? But a lot of wholesalers will come out here and again do it completely wrong. You'll go out, do acquisitions, put something under contract, not knowing if you can sell it. So that's
What is
something
double closing?
So double closing is just the process of having your buyer come in, right, and they're putting up the cash for you to double close. It can be done one or two ways. Either one, you can have a buyer come in and leave that money in escrow, right, or to give that money to the title company, and essentially they will use the buyer's funds to close the deal for you. Or another way of doing it, right, is having good credit or money yourself or capital on hand, closing the deal yourself, and turn around and selling it to your buyer. That's one or two ways you can do it.
So it seems to me like the new laws and regulations often now what they're trying to do is if you call an owner and as the wholesaler, even though maybe your intention is to wholesale, they want you to be the buyer first.
Correct.
It seems like that's what's happening. Like they want you to take down the property because essentially if you just wholesaling, the traditional way, Steve, you're a distressed homeowner.
Yeah.
I call you, we agree on terms, we sign a contract. Now I control a contract. Andrew is the cash buyer. I need to sign a second contract with him?
Yes, you do. You do a
What is that
signable.
contract called?
It's an assignable contract that you typically sign between you and your
That's
buyer.
between me and him.
Yep.
Okay. So now when we sign that, we send it to attorney and then he buys the deal. So he's the one coming in and closing. So essentially I never took title,
No.
right? So I'm not an investor at this point. I'm just a middleman.
Yeah.
But the double closing is put you in a position where
you take title.
instead of directly going to Andrew, because Andrew is the cash buyer, he's going to bring his funds. So let's say I have you on the contract at 150 and I can sell him my contract at 170 and I'm making 20K. Andrew going to bring the whole 170.
Yep.
I'm going to close, but with me on title first.
You're going to close.
And then afterwards,
you're going to turn around and immediately sell it to your buyer immediately afterwards.
Okay.
So you're going to close on the deal.
Okay.
And then you're going to take it, sell immediately.
so now I became an investor.
Yeah, you're an investor at that point.
Because now you're building your resume on going on title.
Yeah.
Because that's like what is, explain to people the difference between an investor and a wholesaler. Like what is the difference on paper in terms of like.
Yeah. So a lot of times as a wholesaler, you never ever own that property. Your name never went on the title or the deed on that property.
Okay.
And whenever you're an investor, this means you actually bought and closed on the property. Your name is on the deed and title, and this can be seen on the county level.
Okay.
So that is the key difference most of the time. As a wholesaler, you never own that property.
Yeah.
Not even once. That's why the contract is assignable, because you're assigning your rights to the original contract.
Okay. So obviously there's levels to it, right? So if I'm in a position now where, let's say my intention is to become a buy and hold investor. But really, the only reason I want to wholesale is because I want to build up my cash. So how do I fast forward my way into becoming the actual investor and not always the one that just sell the contract? Because for most people, that would be the goal at some point. Is like, I want to be the actual investor, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the, let's start with you, Steve. What would be probably what was the first time you closed on how did you take yourself from a wholesaler to an investor?
Okay.
What was that process?
The first way where I was actually double close the deal, similar to what we just spoke on. So
okay.
I used the investors' funds to close the first transaction where I actually took title, and then I turned around and I sold it to that same investor, which allowed me to get my name on deed and title, which showed experience, right? So that gave me the experience to now go to lenders when I wanted to pursue my own flip. Next, once I kind of built up enough capital, this is one thing me and you talked about, I started to build my credit. I tell people all the time, like, I understand no money, no credit, but your credit is vital.
Credit important.
It's
But
very
that's changing
important.
though.
Yeah, right?
Because now they're saying you have to take down the property.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said something key, and I want you to break this down. You said, I started building my resume so when I go to these lenders. So are you saying when I go to lenders, they'll ask me my experience?
Correct.
Not a wholesaling experience, but an experience of what?
Yeah, they're gonna ask you. They want to see that you were on deed and title. No lender will respect any deal you done unless you went on deed and title. So a lot of times people have to understand when you go out and you go do these double closings, right? There's 3 or 4. That shows the key experience you need as a flipper to be able to get into the deal without ever owning the home longer than 9-10 months and dealing with some of the things that most flippers would deal with, right? So now you can pretty much fast forward your progress.
Okay.
That way.
So if I'm starting to wholesale right now, if I want to not only be ahead of the competition, for a lot of people that say, me, I don't care about credit, I'm just going to try to figure it out or cut corners. If simultaneously, as I'm learning to talk to these owners, negotiate with them, I work on my credit simultaneously, that will give me an edge.
Correct.
Because now that opens the door to access capital to be able to basically double close on these properties or take down. Because the great thing about wholesaling, what I love about wholesaling is that you get to learn all these like good deals and you cherry pick if you start buying. You can cherry pick the good ones, which one you want to keep and which one you want to sell. Like you don't rely on the realtor or whatever to bring you the deals, right?
Yep.
So you still work on your credit. So I know, talk to me about the different kind of way of finding money for real estate. Like what was the kind of first money that you got and you did a deal where it was not your money? Like what was that process look like?
Okay, so for me, I think the first deal I ever do where involved cash that wasn't my cash was a flip. And of course, we raise private money lending, payments. So at this point in time, big up Rooney because Rooney did also lend on that deal. But the very first deal when I actually do, when never involved my own money, was actually Winner's Circle. And I think we make close to 40K on that one after we pay out everyone.
Yeah, so that deal, was that a pre-foreclosure?
That was a pre-foreclosure, of course.
Okay, that was a pre-foreclosure. And the property was fixed and flipped. And you're saying somebody lended the money. What is that called? If somebody lending their own money, what is that?
That's a PML. That's a private money lenders. These are people who you actually have private relationship with. Typically lawyer, doctor, people who want to get in a real estate but just too busy with them profession and just want the money work for them. So typically,
and you have a lot of those.
Yeah,
a
of
lot
course.
of professionals
that
have money laying down.
Yeah.
But they don't have the time to find the real estate, nor do they want to.
Yeah.
They love their 9 to 5. They just want to, the money sitting in the bank, I'm getting 0.0 nothing return.
Yeah.
So if you give me 10% and you can show me a house where I can secure the money, I'll give you the money. You go renovate the house. You make money. You give me my 50K back with 10%.
Yeah.
And you just, okay, please talk to me about the structure of that deal. How did you end up doing that deal with absolutely zero money out of pocket? Walk me through that deal. You found a homeowner. You're pre-foreclosure.
Yeah.
How much they're behind on? And then what was the renovation needed? How did you structure it to where you didn't have to go to the bank and get the loan to buy the deal?
Okay.
Because I'm assuming the private lender was for the rental cost.
Yeah, the private.
But how did you buy the house with no money?
Okay, so whenever we do these type of acquisition, of course, we get the information in regards to the arrears. So first, once we met the initial, because Stevie was there also for that negotiation. Once we recognize the situation and the person willing to sell, a lot of the times, what we do, we try to do something called innovation. And sometimes we might do a subject to where we take it over and take title, and then sometimes we might do a subtail. This one was a subtail. Subtail meaning take it over subject to, you don't close on it until we're going to sell it to the retail buyer.
What is subject to?
We are going in a different thing now. No, subject to is taking over the property without buying it fully.
Yep.
Right? We just take over payments. We're not assuming the loan either, because without trouble the loan, we'll let the loan stay in place. We'll catch up the arrears, take title, and we'll continue the payment of the property until we either refinance and sell it at a later date. Just inside a nutshell as to what subject to is.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So it seems like you have a owner.
Yeah.
They're behind on the mortgage.
Yeah.
And you're not going to chase to get the loan to buy the house outright.
No.
Nope.
Okay. You're not bringing cash to buy the house outright.
No.
You're telling them leave the loan on your name and your credit for the next, how long it takes to do a fix and flip?
It depends on the condition, right, Steve? But
Yep.
this one took us 6 months.
6 months. So if
Yeah.
it needs full renovation, it might take you 6 months. So they're leaving that loan there,
Yeah.
but you're transferring title to your LLC.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you control the property. You're on title,
Yeah.
but the loan stays on their name and their credit. And all you're doing now, you keep making the monthly payments. Correct?
Essentially. Yep.
But before you close with the attorney, you have to bring money to get caught up on the
On the payments, on the past
arrears,
due,
right?
Yeah.
Before you take over the monthly payments.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that, yeah.
So now you have the arrears that you need to pay, and then you have the renovation costs, material and labor. That's the money that came from Rooney, the private lender.
Yeah, that's the money that come from the PML. And of course, for cover the closing costs. And we'll also initiate a wholesale fee just because we do acquisition as well. So from even that same PML, we raise enough. Because whenever we're negotiating all these type of stuff. So you get paid upfront for your acquisition skill or your marketing skills. And of course, there's meat on the bone on the back end after the flip.
Oh, guys, catch this. So even though they did the marketing to find the deal and they said this one we're going to flip it, we're not going to wholesale it.
Correct.
We're going to flip it ourselves. But we still used our wholesaling company because we sat down, we did make the calls, we did do the follow-ups.
Yeah.
We did door knock on the door. I know sometimes you guys even go out the door and door knock. And so we want to pay ourselves that $10,000 still.
Yeah.
For our wholesaling company. So you've raised enough money from Rooney to cover the attorney costs for the closing,
Yeah.
cover the arrears. I'm assuming there was some cash to seller too.
Absolutely.
And then do the reno. And then you made something around like 40 grand
at the back
in the
end.
back end.
Yeah.
So really you made 50 because you paid yourself up front.
Yeah.
Right?
Essentially.
So the return on your investment is infinite.
Yeah, because there was no money that was
no
brought
money
to the
out of your
table.
pocket.
Right, Steve?
Yep.
Like,
money
are people doing this daily? Like, is that regular? Is that something?
Yeah, this is a regular occurrence. We actually did this on 2 to 3 deals, and we know a bunch of people in the space that are also doing the same thing or something similar, right? A lot of people, again, seeing is believing. A lot of times people don't understand it. People are doing these deals constantly, but until you're in the field and you're actually out and you're making some noise and kind of, bumping your head, you'll start to kind of come across these things for sure.
Okay.
But this is a regular occurrence.
So this strategy here is called what?
Yeah, that's
This, I mean, you could call it a no money down, but there's too many no money down because VA have no money down programs, conventional sometimes.
Okay.
People gonna start thinking traditional. But what is this strategy here called?
Yeah, these like creative finance. These like creative deals. Yeah, you want to get very creative on what you're doing. So a lot of people think that you have to close deals the traditional way.
Yeah.
But like I said, back in past times, like we had to get a little bit creative with the way we used to do financing. So in these similar situations, it's that same thing like Andrew was saying. Sometimes, involve deals where you're leaving the loans in place, taking deed and just making payments on that loan, which gives you the time to actually flip the property, renovate the property without worrying about all these extra fees that come from lenders. Because that's another big thing as well.
I mean, if you know what is it that you're doing an office structured deal, because the right number gonna make any deal work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you didn't have a Rooney, how would you have found the capital?
No, that's a great question. Now, honestly, again, something we want to talk about earlier, credit. I always tell people all the time, your credit is the ability to...
Vital.
Yes, if you get your credit right, just having your good credit alone or great credit alone, 700 to 800 credit score will allow you to go access $100,000 to $200,000 in funding. And this money doesn't come from your own pocket. It comes from the bank for 0% interest. So you got a whole year to use that 100 to 200,000 to go now do these flips and get yourself in these deals that are taking anywhere between 6 to 7 months. And you can not only pay the bank their money back, but you also can go out and go make that 40, 50 grand in profit, put that in your pocket just from having good credit.
That one, do they require for me to show that I have a house?
No.
For that one?
No.
Okay.
You don't have to have a house.
So that's not private money. What is that one called?
This is this is pretty much just bank financing. This is just funding is what we call it. So it's just business funding.
Business funding.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what they call no doc.
Yeah, so we call
Business
these
funding.
no doc loans. So again, you don't have to have any type of documentation. You don't have to have any type of past revenue showing that you made thousands of dollars. This is strictly just having good credit, setting your business structure up properly. And from there, now you can go into these banks and, these different banks, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, and ask for the bag, 100,000, 200,000.
Which is the LLC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the problem with people get funding is not the funding itself, but some guys, please get yourself a skill set where you can use this funding and multiply. I think that's one of the big things. Getting the funding are one thing. You can always put yourself in a position to get the funding, but also get yourself a part of a mentorship group, a community. Find ways of when you leverage the money now, you can use it and get a return on
this
investment.
is why I'm bringing this up, right? Online, there's a lot of people that talk about business funding.
Yeah.
But their number one issue with their clients is all they can offer them is business funding.
Yep.
But most people don't know what to do with the money. Here, you guys are talking about a skill. You're talking about real estate.
Right.
So if you get this capital, so let's say Rooney, if a Rooney out there, not just Rooney, but like anybody.
Yeah.
But you don't have your own capital.
Yep.
But let's say I knew about business funding and I can go get this at 0% interest, but I don't want to be the one that go find the deals that the way you guys did it. Well, technically, I could have used the bank's money that is giving me now those funds at 0% interest for 12 months, 18 months, and then lended you guys at 10, 12%. The bank's money, right?
Right.
I could be the private lender. The money is secure on a property. And then if I want to learn, I'm learning, but outside of that, I'm making money by just investing passively with you guys.
Correct.
Real estate professionals, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So that's why I'm bringing it up, because here, at least you guys are showing them what skill, like how do you build the skill? So if you get the money, you don't have to panic.
Agree.
You know how to find distressed homes. You can either do it yourself or because you learned how to underwrite deals, you can lend because you know how to underwrite a deal and know that is a good deal for you to lend the bank's money and make money on their money, which is what they're doing with their money anyway. When you put your money in the bank, where do they put it?
Bro, they're going to send it out, lend it
They
out.
lend it the next minute, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is other strategies? Let's say I have a 9-to-5. I have a W-2 and I want to also get into real estate and get my first deals done. What would be the easiest way to do that?
No, you got FHA.
If I don't want to like cold call people and do all that.
Yeah, you can go to, so my thing is there's different things you can do. You can use FHA, you have VA loans, which are just special type of loans where you can get into deals with 5%, 10% down. Okay. So if you have a W-2, you can use your W-2 income to furnish that. Those are some of the, that's one key way if you have a W-2. Now, outside of that, right, if you're going to go access business funding, you can use these W-2 and these tax returns as well to now go access larger amounts of capital on the business side. And you can turn around and take them funds and go start investing with somebody like us. You can join somebody from a mentorship and learn how to actually, come, join our mentorship and come actually learn how to actually flip properties yourselves. Or like I said, you can come partner up with people that know what they're doing and, get a return on that money, 12, 13, 14% sometimes. Some of our investors getting 20%. So, yeah.
Quick pause from the podcast, guys. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're interested in real estate, or maybe you're already in it. Maybe you're struggling to find deals. Maybe you're tired of being on the sidelines and you're watching everybody win in real estate and you haven't started yet. Guys, I run a private community where there is no fluff. This is not the YouTube theory bullshit. We get into real deals, okay? We do deals together in this community. You're going to learn from real estate wholesaling to getting your first rental within 6 weeks to 90 days. And that rental will bring you between $1,500 to $2,000 net cash flow. And you're going to get into these deals with very little money out of pocket or zero money out of pocket. You're going to learn fix and flips. You're going to learn creative finance, right? How can you buy homes without ever walking into the bank? Or if you're somebody who, maybe you're afraid of being on the phones and talking to motivated sellers, you learn how to work with the people that are not afraid. They're going to fish for these deals and bring them to you so you don't have to call these owners, and you learn how to access 0% funding so you can leverage those funds and get into those kind of deals. Guys, it's a one-stop shop. Are you tired of being on the sidelines? Then don't wait, because the people that are winning inside, trust me, they didn't wait. You have access to live deals, case studies. We call for you, we help you do it, or we do it for you guys. We hold your hand. So guys, if you want to join this community, leave a comment below and I'll send you the link to book a call with my team so we can see if you're a good fit. Now let's get back into the podcast. Let's get it. Would you start with single family or multifamily?
I would start with single family just to build your capital, but eventually I would tell any and everybody go to multifamily. My thing is, even if you have a VA FHA loan, multifamily is where it's at. We own enough single family homes to know that once things are starting to tear down and break on those single family homes, depending on if you're trying to keep them as rentals or, you know, Airbnb them or whatever that might be, just the juice is not worth the squeeze with the single family homes. So I would most definitely say, you know, probably flip a few single family homes and eventually transition to multifamily.
I think, Andrew, you went that route.
Yeah.
So you leverage your 9 to 5, you bought a single family. If you were to go back and do the same, you use FHA, right?
Yeah, we use the FHA.
How much down did you put? Like 3.5%?
Yeah, 3.5%.
So guys, this is basically a program that allows you to put 3.5% of the purchase price, right?
Yeah.
And you can buy a single family or a multifamily if you want. A duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Up to a fourplex is basically considered residential, like meaning like a first-time home buyer that you're gonna live in, right? If you were to go back, would you still buy the single family?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
You know, single family, any property where you purchase and live inside of it becomes a liability. And one in so many different ways. You know, you hear the grand talk about it all the time. But me go through it first and for understand how really house work whenever you live inside it. It comes with a lot of expenses, a lot of taxes, and it just don't produce. And for that reason, Mamadou mother did stay away from buying a house to live in and more go up on the investment side. So finding out early, once we start to understand how to leverage credit, that also pull your credit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of the debt we rest on it. So definitely wouldn't go the single family personal resident home. At that point in time, I forgot different route. No.
Yeah, because if it's a single family, only you and family live in.
Yeah.
Obviously, all you're doing is paying the mortgage. But typically, the thing is, people only think about the mortgage. I'm making $2,500 a month at my job. The mortgage is $1,500. Yes, I can afford it. But they don't consider property taxes,
the roof,
property upkeep.
Yeah.
Things breaking into the property. And then sometimes, like, especially the ones with family, like maybe you bought a 3-bedroom, start getting small. You want to extend and add extra bedrooms. So by the time you look at it, on top of not considering that, you have the car note, you have the phone note. People don't consider that. It's not just, so people typically end up having to do like 4 or 5 jobs just to keep up just with the mortgage.
Yep.
But if you start with a multifamily, like now you have one unit you don't live in, and it's bringing income day one.
Correct.
Inside your pockets. You can either start with a duplex, it's called house hacking, and then work your way up. Duplex, triplex, fourplex. Then I think after that, you can go buy your dream home because now you have tenants. You understand? Tenants now are paying you. Do you guys find that it's very difficult for most people to do what we call delayed gratification, to practice delayed gratification? Because the first time home buying thing is a very emotional thing I find with people. Like it's almost like a trigger.
Yeah. I mean, it's the American dream. Like a lot of people here come here, they think they'll get a white picket fence, get a dog, and then, hey, boom, you made it, hit a home run. Okay, cool. But like I said, a lot of times that's dying off with inflation coming in and killing most of the US dollar that you have. Then you also have a lot of jobs that aren't paying the most anymore. A lot of people going to getting college degrees that they're really not using. AI coming in. It's tough for the modern person to be able to actually go out and go afford a home without actually having assets, like Andrew was saying.
Yeah.
So if you're not having these quadplexes, these duplexes, something that's producing income when you sleep, don't expect to ever own a home, you know, properly or the way that you should, unless you're making some, you know, unless you designing some type of special computer chip that's $1 million. I mean, good job for that. You know, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I think also too, because me have a conversation in a recent times about, it was a female me I talked to, and me explain the concept to her about the duplex, because she wanted a home also. But I guess a lot of the times people feel like duplex are some rundown. 800. Me then I text us and I see some duplex, and people, if you even understand what kind of duplex we are talking about. Now, if you get the opportunity to purchase yourself a duplex, Mamadou, and you're living on one side, it can be a very nice duplex.
Even more nice than the
single family, right?
Yeah.
So I think that need to be like a little mental shift for people, because a lot of people think duplex.
You have to go find something shitty. In the shitty. The thing is this, right? People don't realize this. All these programs, FHA, which is for the first time home buyer, and then you have VA for the people that are in the military. That's even the best one. Like, no, you're not bringing nothing down outside of an administrative fee, right? And then you have the conventional, which is at 5%. What they don't realize is, let's say FHA, the same money they gave you for that brand new single family, they will give you the same exact money for a brand new duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, obviously that's linked to your income.
Yeah.
You got to have the income. You have to have 2 years of tax returns. You got to have consistent W-2. But if you're a 1099, for example, like Uber driver, whatever the case may be, conventional is best because they only ask you 1 year. Now, on the duplex side, FHA, for example, there's 2 ways you can approach it. You can either go and find a brand new duplex just built or just got renovated and buy it brand new. You're absolutely right. Like, you don't have to go buy something shitty. But somebody who's thinking more on the long-term perspective, like, hey, I know I want to become an investor. I'll build my rental portfolio, but I already have a job I can leverage to buy a duplex and house hack instead of starting with a single family where I'm just paying. They also have a program where if you buy a property that needs renovation, most people don't, it doesn't have to be heavy renovation. It could be cosmetic. It could be you're the one who's coming in, changing the carpet, changing the AC unit, maybe doing new paint. And because you did that, you just raise your property's value. So you bought it at a little bit of a discount. You live in, there's a name for it. There's people that do that. They buy fixer-uppers. They live in, they fix it up while they're living in it. If the property was worth $300 when they bought it, when they finish fixing, now the property is worth $450. It's worth $400, and they just built instant equity. FHA have a program where they'll give you the money to purchase and the money to renovate the same loan. But you have a choice. Like, it's you to choose if you want to go the route of, I want to add value to my property day one myself, or I want to buy something brand new because I don't have time to deal with handyman and GCs, and for the next 7 years, I just want the cash flow.
Correct.
But you have both choices. You just got to think like, okay, if you have children, for example, and you want to be living, because this is primary residence, right, essentially. If you want to live like in the safe neighborhoods, typically it's a duplex.
I agree.
It's tough to find a triplex in areas where there's the best schools, the best hospitals, safety and everything. It's going to be single family or duplex. So if you want to start with a triplex or fourplex, that means now you're going in neighborhoods where that's where your money is. That's where your generational wealth is, but it's not necessarily where you want to live. But it's affordable housing areas and things like that. So depending on your situation and like, hey, you know what, right now maybe my priority is safety, duplex. But you have the choice. You can go with one that need work or brand new, and typically they actually lend you easier if it's brand new because the bank knows you as a homeowner buying a house, what experience you don't have.
Construction experience.
So they're more comfortable doing what? Lending you if you buy something brand new. They make it way easier. Another thing is this, people don't know, those same loans, they'll also give it to you if you really want to build to live in and build instant equity. They will give you the same exact loan to build your duplex instead of buying. So now, let's say the duplex in the area you're trying to build is $500K worth ARV after repair value, right? How much you gonna spend? You guys are builders. How much you gonna spend to build a $500,000 property?
I mean, right around, but at the most you probably spend around 150. 200 if you're lucky. If you get a good contract, it's about 200.
So let's say because it's somebody maybe that don't have your experience, let's say worst case scenario you spend 300.
Okay.
When you close, how much is your house worth?
I mean, 500,000.
How much equity you have day one?
200,000.
Okay. If you go on the MLS to qualify for FHA, can you buy a property with 200K equity in it as a homeowner?
No. Most of the time now, you're going to get those from full retail. No equity.
So the building, also people don't know, the same loans, they'll give you to build, so you walk into equity day one. So that's also something to explore if I have a 9-5 and I have, because you're already like giving your hours to this job anyway. I agree. Might as well leverage your tax returns and stuff like that, right? Okay, so how did you all go from transitioning to wholesaling? Then you all went from wholesaling to flips. I'm assuming you all did buy and holds as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did you all transition from that to like real estate new development? What was that transition like?
I can say, I mean, it all started with this liquidating and letting go of the rental portfolio, because again, one thing you started to understand about these single family homes is the upkeep. A lot of times when you take them down, you don't take into account the maintenance, dealing with the tenants, having toilet leaks, having pipes burst in the middle of the night, and having crazy homeowners and people that you have to deal with. So at a certain point, you start to realize that I'm doing all this work, buying a 1957 house just for something to break on it.
So it's not passive as the same.
So it's not as passive as people like to make it out to be, really. So it's like we started understanding that, hey, listen, the only way that you're going to really be able to maximize your returns is basically going into new develop, not only to, go build these brand new multi-million-dollar homes where you're not making anything less than 6 figures, but you're also being able to take that same experience and go out and go build multi-family homes where you're actually walking into equity. Right now, if you go in the market and you go buy these multifamily homes, some of these duplexes and these newer triplexes, super tough to try to walk into some equity sometimes because these builders want max dollars. So when you're building them and you're coming in and, you know, starting to take these loans, build them from the ground up, you're able to do a refinance and keep these houses with sometimes 60, 70, 50, 60% equity, you know, just from the fact because you know how to build at a cheaper cost. So that's kind of where the transition happened, just kind of starting to flip. Seeing that you're making $30,000-$40,000 off a flip, but you're taking 9 months to do that, where you can make 6 figures in the same time frame with new development. So I think that's kind of where the transition happened.
Always the bigger profit margin because you can do so many fix and flip. At some point in time, you want to go to the next level. And once you start to wholesale and you start to get a couple of deals, then of course the check you wanted for move and the experience inside the
it seems like you all didn't skip any class.
No.
You did it gradually, right?
Yeah, we did everything.
The fix and flip taught you the construction side.
Yeah.
I'm assuming managing the crews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the first flip, which is the from wholesale to fix and flip to rentals, then now we're in a new development.
What is the profit margins you're looking at as a flipper if you're flipping?
On average, you're gonna be looking at about 12% if you want to kind of round it out to that. So whatever,
that's net.
Yeah, that's net.
Of
so
the sales price.
Yep. So whatever you're selling that home for, let's say we're selling it for $100,000, 12%, you're looking at $12,000 that you can possibly make. So
how about the new construction?
On new construction, depending on the price point, if you're looking at anything over $1 million, you're making 6 figures minimum. But typically, on average, if you're throwing a percentage on there, about 25%.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 25%.
So 12%. You're still managing the same crew, right? Outside of, what's the difference between the flip? What is the only thing you do when you're developing that you don't do when you flip in a home?
Repeat, what's the only thing you do?
Because if I'm flipping a home, I'm buying an existing home already.
Yeah.
It's just beat up and I can go straight into renovation. In the new development, what process is completely different to where I cannot go straight
We are by raw and we now buy house. I think that would be the number one difference. Well, of course, you don't know because we are getting it from scratch. So we not have no behind the walls for worry about because sometimes whenever you put these flips under contract and you have to now go behind the walls, they can meet a lot of surprises which can affect your profit at a later date. Now, the advantage you have with new development, you build everything from scratch. Right? So you don't have no surprises. The process is a little bit more tedious, but for the most part, it's way more profitable, I would say.
I feel like there is more administrative work to do.
Okay.
Because after, like, for example, going to the county, getting your permits, working with the architect, working with the engineer, but that's all like administrative shit. Like, it's like, what's the term you guys call that in new development?
We call it a soft cost.
Soft cost.
Soft cost,
because all you're doing is really paperwork. Right?
Yeah,
working with the architect, designing your home, blah, blah, blah. Okay, because after you start foundation, you're kind of dealing with almost the same crew
like
that
a
you
fix
use
and
in
flip.
fix and flip. Because at this point, it's just construction.
And these are professionals, right? We're not talking about somebody who like a GC where a one guy do everything. We're talking about real professional guys with the framing. Guys with the foundation and stuff like that.
So it seems like it takes the same energy and same.
No different.
Probably even less.
Yeah, way less.
Did your wholesaling skill benefit you when you transition into new development?
Oh, 100%.
Andrew?
Of course, every level, real estate, wholesale skills, assessment insider. Whether it have to do with problem solving, Steve, whether it have to do with even conversating and know how to even analyze deals, new construction, go out, do land acquisition. Steve know, like wholesaling, the foundation, because at that point, you talk about marketing and offer of conversation, right? Yeah.
Okay, and Steve, how are you guys doing? So you transition into new development. I'm assuming you approached it in a way where, hey, how can I still leverage and not use my own capital?
Correct.
If I can. What does that process look like?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a mixture of two different things. Of course, PML funds, which is private lenders, so lawyers, doctors, and using those funds. It's a mixture of that and also credit. When you have your credit right, and a lot of times people think that, okay, if I'm buying a $500,000 lot, I have to give somebody $500,000 for the lot. You actually don't. You go out and get a lender, and like I said, you use your funding, and the lender probably might ask you for maybe 5 to 10% of that. So you're only bringing about $50,000 to get into $100,000 or $200,000 deal, and you completely leveraging credit or using some of the PML's funds. So that's kind of how we're doing it now.
Okay, so if I'm buying a land and the land costs $250,000, and the only reason, guys, we're talking about these expensive prices is because we're in Dallas.
Correct.
You guys can tell. Over here, land costs like quite a bit because of the competition. But there is areas where you can buy land for $75,000, $50,000. But let's just average out $250,000. you don't bring the whole 250 to the table.
You don't
to
bring
buy the lot.
2%.
How many percent of that you bring?
Yeah, it depends. So this is where experience comes in.
Okay.
If you have good experience most of the time, such as us, and you have good credit, what I mean by good credit, anything above a 680, you're only bringing about 5 to 10% down for the lot, depending on the lender. So I've seen some lenders get up to 95% where you're only bringing 5% down. See some do 10%. Worst case scenario, you're bringing 20% down for the lot, but you're getting into that lot for 20% or whatever you're purchasing the lot at. And we're talking 20% of the purchase.
The purchase.
Yep. 20% of the purchase, and then the lender will give you all the construction costs. So that's no money that has to come out of your pocket for that.
Okay, so if I'm transitioning, I'm just gonna put in my head 20 to 25%.
Okay.
Is what I need to prepare. So how are you guys securing those? I know the private money. A lot of people complain because they don't know how to network.
Right.
How do you get money to bring that 25%? How would you go about getting that capital to bring it to the table where you're still not using your money?
Yeah, so one or two ways. I'm either out, like I said, going to leverage on my credit and leveraging the 0% interest credit cards.
Okay,
like
the business funding.
Yeah, you're leveraging the business funding to be able to go do it that way.
Okay.
That's one of the ways you can do it. Or like I said, go out and start networking. You can start going to some tech events. You can start going to other real estate events. There are people there with money and funds. Start going to some of these car meetups. That's another way you can meet private lenders and just start networking. There's a lot of people who want to get into real estate, but they don't want to do the day-to-day management of real estate. So you take those people's lack of time and you utilize that and put their money into deals once you've got the skill set, of course. So,
Yeah, that can be a bit much for somebody who try to get, because a lot of people don't even know how to network. Yes, if you go out and network, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I think if you don't have the strength for network, if you do not have the strength to network, then you have to get your personal credit right. That's the next place where the money sits. So if you don't have the ability to go out and form relationship, if you can leverage other people's money, then your credit have to be right, because that's the next place you can gather funds if you can do these type of deals.
Yeah. What is the lenders called that you use on the construction?
Yeah, we use hard money lenders.
Hard money lenders.
A lot of times.
Hard money lenders, if you go to them, they'll always ask you an asset, right? Because they collateralize their money on the house, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot get those kind of loans without having a property.
Yeah, you always have that.
Or a piece of lot.
Yep, correct.
Not that you bought it, but identify it's on the contract or whatever. Okay. I think the distinction, guys, to tell you guys the difference between a real estate loan and the business funding is that the business funding is not linked to anything specific. So the bank is not asking you, hey, show me a property you're about to buy.
Correct.
Show me a truck you're about to buy so we can secure the money there.
Yeah.
They're giving you what we called no-doc loans. All they're doing is using your credit, your personal credit as collateral. And then they're giving you, the LLC. The LLC have to be seasoned. You cannot go to the bank with a new LLC for this. You got to have a year LLC or 2+ years.
Yeah.
You can buy these and inherit the ages, guys, in case you don't know, instead of creating a new LLC. And the combination of both, you go to the bank, they'll give you what we call no-doc loans, meaning they're not asking you any documentation beyond that.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're not telling you, show me a house. Once you get the money, you decide where you want to deploy it and what industry. And if you're part of this group, the weekly calls, the weekly trainings, now you learn in real estate. So if you get those funds, you can be a flipper, you can be a buy and hold investor, you can be a developer, depending what route you choose. But working on your credit, is it expensive? People think it's very expensive to fix your credit.
I always tell people all the time, like,
but who cares? No mean for cut a steep, but even if it's expensive, so what?
That's what unlock all the doors, right? Like,
exactly.
You cannot get the capital without the credit. Guys, today, literally, if you know how to pull your credit report, you can upload that thing on ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to tell you everything you need to do to be fundable. And it will tell you exactly how to go fix your credit, even if you want to do it by yourself. But fixing your credit, is the door. If you don't have personal credit, forget about it. Or maybe your partner, right? We've seen situations where people have a partner. I don't have good credit. I'm handling the other side of the business. Maybe I'm making the calls. But my partner have the credit. You all can be on the LLC. The person with good credit can have 80% ownership on that LLC and then use their profile to go secure the 0% funding that you can leverage and then go execute these things, right?
Okay.
Okay. So with that being said, guys, so any other no money down strategies you want to tell them about in real estate that you've done? When is the last pre-foreclosure deals you'll close? I know it's 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
We have one where we're going to close even. We'll close this one already, but I think we're going to get paid Friday. But we'll stop counting the long time, Mamadou, man.
No, but as a newbie that don't know nothing is like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, really, like, you know what I mean? So if somebody come and learning this thing from you guys, right? So is the thing hands-on? Like, is it they're gonna learn deal underwriting? Like, is it hands-on? Like, are you gonna
absolutely? So the aim of the game is for, of course, to know Mamadou. I put together the school program, me, Steve, and Mamadou, and we invite you guys to come at the program and kind of allow me to teach you this skill set. Me have the acquisition for at least 5 years now, so I have some ideas to what is it that I'm doing. Steve, the best disposition person you're gonna find. Steve can teach you everything what you need to know about your personal credit. So we have so many different departments where we can teach you guys what to do. We role play at times, everything. And there's a bunch of value inside of the community where we had put together right now, Mamadou.
So very hands-on, guys. No fluff. And then they'll show you also all the case studies, deals that they just closed on, so you can see everything is legit. Guys, I'm telling you, like, stop watching the news. Don't believe the interest rates is killing that. The market is too high, it's saturated. There's no such thing.
Yeah, lies.
Like Andrew said, honestly, if I were to go back day zero, I would have invested in a mentor that day.
That's a
because it's gonna cut the learning curve, and you want to be part of a community. People are connected together on the Zoom where you have people going through the same thing you're going through. They're in the trenches, they're calling the owners, they're going through issues, or some people are becoming cash buyers, people going through their credit repair. Like, you part of a community of people, this is all to talk about. Because typically I was surrounding, like, did you guys have to let your circle go the first time you decided to go through the journey?
Steve, make Steve tell it. Talk to him, Steve.
that was the first thing you had to...
we had to cut up. Listen, my thing is, me and Andrew got this concept. You got this same concept. If you want to be a pilot, what you got to do, get rid of all your friends not pilots and go get around people with pilots. So it's the same concept. If you're trying to get into real estate, I can tell you those friends, as much as you want to keep them, as much as you love them, you have to let all of them go. It's tough sometimes, but the only way that you're going to seek change or get the change you want is to change your environment first. And that also starts with the people that you're around. So, you know.
So if I come through the program, but I absolutely, as much as the skill is valuable, I don't want to cold call. I don't want to learn negotiations. But I understand that I can be helped also go get access this business funding. Can access 100K, 150K at 0%. Would you guys show me how to then invest it passively in real estate?
100%.
Instead of being the one that call whatever.
100%.
Maybe work with a wholesaler, be the buyer, just buy deals, or just be a lender. Like,
whatever level, we've been through it all from the top to the top. So whatever level of real estate you really want to learn, even if you want to become the person who invests and you want to just have a hands-off experience, but also provide that. Because most of these PMLs, of course, you know, Mamadou, will lend on these new construction deal. Sometimes we'll even bring them on as partners and give them the experience for the LLC. We have so many different ways where we structure these deals with these PMLs, right, Steve?
Yeah, correct. And then my thing is, you're getting a hands-on experience. Like, my thing is, we were going to take you by your hand and walk you step by step through the process. My thing is, if you want to avoid all the fluff and just kind of get into deals, that's what we're here to coach you on. This is why having access to people is so vital. You need to call, you need to text, you still getting access to us once, twice a week to be able to ask all the questions that you need to. So that's valuable information. I wish I had that when I first started, but you know, hey, it would have cut my learning curve by 6-7 years, easy.
What I wish I had when I first started is a program that not only, because for me, I'm comfortable being on the phone, so acquisition was not a big deal. But if that same mentor had told me, hey, you know what, I know you're comfortable being on the phone, but let me help you fix your credit, and here's what credit can do for you. Because my first deal that I've ever closed, my biggest challenge was the capital. Like, I lost so many great deals because I didn't know how to access capital. It took me a long time to even learn that there's such thing as private money. But it also took me a long time to build a relationship. Because think about it, Andrew, like, if we met in a networking event and then I call you a week later, I say I have a home, lend me money on it, and I'm telling you I'm a newbie, would you give me a 50K?
Hell no.
Hell no, right? Because I don't have the experience. But if somebody would have told me, bro, like, the credit, when you go to the bank, the business funding, they're not asking you for your real estate experience because it's not a real estate loan. So you can secure those. Now you can leverage it. I was getting all these great deals I want to keep. But I had to wholesale them because I don't have the
credit,
the capital.
The capital.
You see what I mean? So for me, this program here is like the one-stop shop. That's what I love. It's like not only hands-on, people that are still doing deals, and you guys went through every real estate strategy.
Of course.
Wholesaling, creative finance, cash deals, sourcing it off market, on market. I remember at some point, Steve used to bring me realtors that have houses they couldn't sell. We're able to close those, right? Then you have credit. I can help you, but I can also educate you on it.
Yeah, and we make a bunch of mistakes to guys.
There you go.
Let me say this right now.
About the
On the
mistakes.
camera there. Hey, we make a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
Still I make mistake.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the game.
Yeah.
That is all a part of the game. And commit the mistake with me and grow with me as well. You know what I mean? So
they can avoid those mistakes because you already made it for them. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so guys, listen, if you made it this far, you already know it's a no-brainer to contact these people and be part of the weekly community calls, the weekly community teachings, and learn this at a high level, whether you want to be passive or active. Like, it's a one-stop shop, so it's a no-brainer. So guys, tell them how they can find you, Andrew.
On YouTube, Andrew Powell, Instagram, Andrew Powell, Facebook, everywhere.
All across Andrew Powell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, how about you, Steve?
Yeah, you can find me on all platforms at SBJ the Entrepreneur. Feel free to reach out to me. Any free questions that you guys have, I can answer any questions that you guys might have. And if you're curious about the community, just feel free to reach out. I can answer any information we might have on that and kind of get you started, man. Come make this money with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and guys, you can find me across all platforms, Mamadou DLU Real Estate. And below here, I'll link all the links in the description. If you want to join the weekly calls, I'll add it there. It's on school, guys. Everything is recorded, even when you miss the live calls. And I'm telling you guys, it's hands-on. And then also, I'll link also all the links, even the companies that we use to access all this business capital, to be able to invest in all the deals that we're doing to where we're not using our own capital. But if you're part of the community, you're going to learn all this and access all of this anyway. Okay, guys? So I'll see you guys on the next one. Please make sure you like the video, leave a comment. It does help the algorithm. And we'll keep dropping this kind of information. So if there is any other topic that you want us to maybe expand on, address a little bit, any real estate strategy niche that you want us to go in way more details, put it in the comments. We'll make sure to do another episode on that as well.
Yes,
and
yes,
then, yeah, for those that are serious about it and you're tired of being on the sidelines, guys, you're ready to get rid of the excuses, just put the word school below and I got you. I'll send you all the links on how you can join the weekly calls. And until next time, guys, make sure you keep that boom mentality, stay bold, stay obsessed, stay optimistic. And lastly, keep a mindset that's abundant, guys. There's enough for everybody out here. No such thing as saturated, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.